What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to The Average Investor, where anyone can build wealth, even the average investor. And if you're new to the channel, this channel is all about personal finance, investing, and real estate. And in today's video, we are talking all things books. This video is going to be perfect for someone who wants to upgrade their personal finance, business, or investing books, or if you're someone who already reads a ton and you want to add some more books to the list. This video is for you. Now, if you absolutely hate books and you're not a reader at all and you have no interest in reading books, go ahead and click out of this video. I appreciate you showing up, but I'm sorry this video is not for you. That being said, if you have not joined the Average Investor family yet, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that little bell button so you do not miss any videos. Definitely don't want to miss that. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and like this video so we can push this to more people like yourself and hopefully enlighten their book game. Now, for me personally, I made a goal for myself about 2 months into this year saying I want to read 30 books by the end of this year. Now, in terms of where we are on that, we have currently hit 19 books, but we're going to be getting to 30 here shortly. And that's really, really crucial, especially for me, because people always ask me all the time, where did you learn your investing? How did you get into personal finance? And the main reason is books. Now, if you're anything like me, a couple years ago, I hated reading for fun. I was always shoved textbooks in my face when we were at school, and you had to read these massive math books and you had to do problems in it, and you just rarely ever would go through and read the chapters just for fun. So I kind of pushed off the reading game and just me learning on my own until I was about 20 years old, which was a couple of years ago. But now I absolutely love learning things that I want to learn, which is kind of a funny thing because most of the times you don't want to learn what you're learning in class. But if you're like me and you want to better your personal finance game and you don't know where to go, you're already watching YouTube videos, but maybe you want to digest a book or something like that, then that's what I personally did. Hopefully we have some books that we'll be going over today that make a big impact on you because they made a massive impact on me. I also want to point out I have the books here and I like to read the actual physical book, but if you're someone who has a long commute to work or you go on walks, you run in the morning, you work out, a great way to get these books into your brain is you can just download the audio book and you can just listen to it while you're doing something. You might not be as 100% zoned in, but at least that information is still going to that little noggin. All right, so without further ado, first book we have here on the list is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Absolute banger. I'm gonna go ahead and prop him up right here on the corner with this water bottle. Very fancy prop up right here. One of the things that I think scares a lot of people is when you talk about personal finance and investing is the nitty gritty of like how much percent you're gonna make. There's a lot of complicated terms and it can get pretty overwhelming and intimidating for new investors. The great thing that I love about Think and Grow Rich is you say, hold on one second, you take a step back and you make sure that your foundation and your mindset is absolutely dialed into success and where you want to go in your investing journey, because without that, without having your roots, then you're going to miss and you're definitely not going to be dialed into the nitty gritty and trying to figure out the numbers and all these words and such. Also, if you're someone with the mindset already where you're like, I know I'm going to be successful, but I just don't know where to start and I just want to make sure I have that good foundation, this book is perfect for you. I'm a really big believer that the ideas that you have in your mind and the things that you keep thinking about slowly become into your actions, and that's something that this book touches on. If you think about these goals and you have these affirmations and you write down what you really want to achieve, sooner or later, especially if you're surrounding yourself with the right people, those things are going to come to fruition. Also, please do not sleep on the fact that this book was written in 1937 and the ideas and the concepts and all the principles that he talks about in this book are still super, super current. And if they worked back then, it's just human nature for things to work now. So if you're new to the investing game, you're ready to just take yourself to the next level and you haven't started yet, this is a great book to make sure that your foundation is on lock and you have that think big, dream big, and also making sure you're writing down the goals that you want to achieve. This book is great at doing that before you actually dive into the nitty gritty. Add that to cart. Also forgot to mention in the beginning of this video, if you want to check out some of these books, even if you want to download it on like an audio book or you want to order them straight to your doorstep, all of those links will be down in the description. You can pick them up right there. You know, I got to make it easy for you guys. The second book on the list is another one that isn't really in the nitty gritty as well. It's more of a principle thing, and it's the 80-20 principle. And right on the cover, it says the The Secret to Achieving More with Less. So this book really tackles the concept that your input is disproportional to your output. And I think this concept is really, really hard to visualize. See, I think in today's society, our current mindset is our 100% effort that we put into whatever a project or whatever it might be will equal 100% output. So it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. This book actually highlights that 20% of an input actually can result in an 80% of an output. So that hence is the concept with less work, you can have more results. That might sound really, really easy, but the book spends a lot of time of building systems that actually do the unproportional input and output. So you put 20% in, get 80% out. That takes a lot of systems, and it's the concept of working smarter, not harder. So in terms of putting this example in my life, and you can try to find a way to relate it to you, but for me personally, I know, let's say for one of my TikTok videos that might take me 15 minutes to make, where I literally record something, hit upload, and then just put it out into the world. Thing that is absolutely mind-boggling and doesn't make sense is that TikTok that took me 15 minutes could go and reach millions and millions of people, literally changing my audience as a whole. Meanwhile, I'll have these YouTube videos that I'll spend hours on end. So it's like an hour to shoot it, and then 3 to 4 hours to edit it, and then another hour to upload it. So it's a ton of time, and it might only reach like a couple hundred people. So my input on that TikTok video was only like 10 to 15 minutes. Meanwhile, the YouTube video was like a couple hours, maybe 5 hours total, and it only reached 100 people. And that's all because of the systems that are put in place. The YouTube algorithm is really, really picky in the beginning, especially with new channels coming aboard. They don't want to push anything unless they're like, yep, that's good. Meanwhile, TikTok's current system and algorithm, you can put one video out there and it goes absolutely viral. Now I get to question my two choices and decisions here. It's like, could I just spend 10 minutes to make another TikTok video, or maybe spend 2 hours to make like 2 to 6 different TikTok videos in hopes to go viral and start building my audience that way and funneling them to YouTube? Or should I still make these YouTube videos and just focus on that? Well, the 80-20 principle, the book would say you should focus on the thing that takes 20% of the effort, but 80% of the result. And it doesn't have to be super business related. Like, I bet you that you wear 20% of your clothing 80% of the time. I know I do. If you go back and watch these videos, I'm always wearing like one of like 6 shirts, and it really can expose and show how much extra stuff that you have, or how much stuff you really don't use. And then also, let's say you're at your 9-to-5 business and your job, and you're looking and you're like, okay, these 20% of clients produce 80% of our revenue. Well, I can promise you should definitely be making more of an effort to keep them happy, because the other 80% of clients that really don't produce that much revenue, they don't mean as much as like the 20% that is producing pretty much everything. There might be things in life that you have that you'll literally put in 5% of effort and get a 95% reward. The real challenge comes into actually finding and evaluating those things, and the next is actually building a system to tackle it efficiently. The last thing that I want to say about the book, though I really, really like it, it is pretty repetitive, because it's basically applying this principle to everything where it comes from like business, life. So it gets a little repetitive. Still a really good book though. But now you're probably like, all right, we get it. We got the mindset. We have the principles in place, but now I want to tackle some of the nitty gritty. I want to start setting up accounts. I want to start investing today. This is the next book, and it's perfect for you. What we have here is Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. Now, this book is definitely a big boy. 650 pages. It definitely took me a very long time to read this book and be able to digest all the information in there, but it is amazing. I do want to preface and say this is not a real estate book. This is a stock market investing book, and it breaks down all the instruments, avenues, and strategies that one could approach when going into the stock market. You might be thinking, like, Tony Robbins, why is he writing a finance book? Well, the cool thing is he actually interviews pretty much all the successful people out there. Like, for example, like the guy that basically started Vanguard. He goes by the name of John C. Bogle. Definitely not a stupid guy when it comes to the stock market. And he basically invests all of these legends in the game and say, like, what can the average person do? What strategy should they take? And breaks it down in a way that is digestible for us. Now, Tony does a really good job of making sure you have established and you know your goals before even diving into your book, making sure you have your why. It's basically like the other two books, like making sure your mindset's right before you really dive in. But then it dives into when I tell you every sort of type of investing, from index funds, stocks, it breaks down what a Roth IRA is, a 401k, life insurance, annuities, like so many different things. And if you might come across the chapter and you're like, oh, I don't really want to look at this, you can skip to the next one and then come back to it in the future. So in terms of this book, I would say it definitely dives into the nitty gritty. And if you're someone who's new, it can be pretty intimidating. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend that book. In fact, I would probably recommend one of these two books up here. They're not on the list today, and I reviewed them early in the past, but probably I Will Teach You How to Be Rich or Rich Dad Poor Dad instead of that book. But if you're someone who does kind of have an understanding of the basics and you want to dive in more, this book is perfect. Especially if you want a one-stop shop, this is the one you're looking for. Probably my favorite investing stock market book out there. And for the final grand finale, we have the book on rental property investing by Brandon Turner. Now, this is a real estate book. If you could not tell by the title, this is not a stock market book. And for me, I was a complete noob, and I still am a noob when it comes to real estate investing. And this book really opened my eyes to the game. So I can say from firsthand jumping into real estate, this book really, really helped me. I don't think I would have a good grasp and a good foundation without this book. So if you're in my place, you're just starting to get into real estate, I highly recommend this book. Now, for me, long term, I definitely want to focus on getting some rentals, whether they're short-term or long-term rentals, and basically build up that residual income. So this is a book focused on that. But for right now, we're obviously, if you've been following the channel, we've been diving into wholesaling, have that wholesaling series going right now, as well as probably after wholesaling, going to be flipping. So currently, I'm not applying the principles that I learned in this book right now, but at least I have a scope and an understanding of what is out there. This book does a great job on learning your market, how to know what a good deal is, when you have a good deal, how can you actually fund that deal? In addition, what things to look for in these houses and what things to absolutely stay away from. All things that I had no idea before actually reading this book. And now when I see this, I can't unsee the do's and the don'ts. Also, I mentioned I'm going to be reading the 30 books this year. The next handful of books are going to be dialed in on real estate. I've only read a bunch of investing and stock market books, but the shift and the tide is coming towards real estate. But as it stands right now, these two books, this is going to be your one-stop shop for all investments in stock market, and this is going to be a great intro into rentals. Well, guys, that is all we have on today's video. I'm going to just set up the stack right here if you want to look at all the books, or I guess you can go back in the video, but those are the books right there. Top 4 books currently that really have changed my mindset. I've gained so much knowledge from all of these books, and highly recommend to you guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and also hit that bell notification to not miss any more videos. Also, like this video so we can push these books and these ideas, and hopefully you pick up a copy of one of these books today if they intrigued you. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope to see you guys in future videos. Bye, guys.